Hi everyone, and welcome to the latest installment of FTO Friday, a series where we go over tips and tricks and advice for FTO and just general stuff about the puzzle. Today we're going to talk about what to do when things go wrong, where you make a mistake. And in this specific example, we've got our first center's color scheme wrong. So how can we repair this? Now, there is an easy way to fix this, but the algorithm will mess up some triples. So what we need to do first is preserve them. So the way that I like to do it is if I hold them, so this is on U, and this triple's here, and this triple's at the back, we do back left prime and F prime. That puts these two out of the way, sort of in the first block area, and we're going to do an RU gen alg to fix this. So RU, R prime, U prime, and then just R wide U prime, R prime U, R. Now that has put this over here, so you can just, if this happens to match up, you go from there. So start putting things in however they belong. So I'll show it again. You don't have to hide the triples in exactly that way. You can also do F prime BL like this. That's also fine. So here's the messed up centers, and let's pay attention to where the edges end up. So this edge is going to end up here, and this one's going to stay here. So basically, effectively, these two edges are going to be swapped. So R, U, R prime, U prime. Let's put them there. Oh, I guess I misspoke then. So this one's going to go here, and then it's going to come back here. Yeah, so this one will stay here, and effectively these two swap. I do apologize. So R, U, R prime, U prime, R wide, U prime, R prime, U, R. And then we do an R wide prime to see it again. And then from here you can solve this one, and F to solve this one. So looking at it, I guess essentially we have to ask, how can we tell where these guys are going to end up? So for this instance, the red edge is going to go here and come back again. Purple's going to go here, blue's going to go here. So this one, red here, purple here. So the purple, these back and right edges are going to swap. So this triple is in the right location when the center is fixed. So if we do F prime BL, then a BL prime will solve that, and an F will solve that. So then BL prime solves that in the correct place, and F prime solves that in the correct place. Same thing applies if we have our second center and we've accidentally done the color scheme wrong for this one. Exactly the same alg, RU, R prime, U prime, R wide, U prime, R prime, U, R. And then to orient your center, just R wide prime, U. So in this example, we've got our color scheme, the center colors are correct. So the color scheme of our gray center is right, and then it should go green and then orange. However, the order of the edges on my green center is wrong. So we just apply exactly the same alg again, and it will actually leave this one, which is also incorrect, will then be fixed. So R, U, R prime, U prime, R wide, U prime, R prime, U, R. And now here, we can orient the centers in whichever order. So if we were ignoring our LBT, then U prime, RY prime, U. But if we were paying attention to this, then we could do RY prime U first, and then RY U prime. This second center gray is correct, and then you've got incorrect color scheme on these edges. Again, the order of the colors for the centers is correct, but the edges are swapped again. But this time, your last bottom triple is also in place. Well, luckily, there is actually a way to fix this. So what we're going to start with is much the same as before. So R, U prime. So this is slightly different. We're actually going to build a large trap basically with this edge and this edge. So R, U prime, R prime, U builds that. R wide, U, R prime, U prime, R fixes the triple. And then we do a U to orient this center. R wide prime, U prime to fix this center. And then to insert this, we can just do U prime, U, like that. Like so. So that comes up a little bit less often, but if you did miss and you made the incorrect color scheme for the edges there, then that would be the way to fix it. So when it comes to having swapped centers, there's lots of different ways of approaching this. But in this case, the orange center and green center need to swap over. And in this particular instance, the order of the edges on orange are correct and the order of edges on green is incorrect. So we can start with something simple like RU, R prime, U prime. And then we're going to use color scheme cancellation. So I'll show the algorithm full and we'll talk about it. So R, U prime, R prime, U prime. And then we're going to build an incorrect large trap with this one. So R wide, U, R wide prime, R, U prime, R prime, and then U, R wide, U, R wide prime, and then 3 mover to fix them like that. That seems to be what I could find is the shortest one, the shortest move count when the center on U has the correct order and the center on F has the incorrect order. Okay, so here is the case where we've got the two centers here are swapped and the U center has incorrect color scheme and the F center has correct color scheme. So I must admit I haven't used this one in solves. I've just generally done it intuitively. Maybe I have done literally these moves, but I got Ben to double check a few things and he said this is the optimal solution for this case. So I'm going to show it to you now. So we start with our U prime, R prime. There's with any of these, you can start with either RU, R prime or RU prime, R prime, and it'll break up some stuff and it'll put a pair into the U layer where it belongs. And then once we've done RU prime, R prime, we do R wide, R prime, U, RU. So we've made a large trap with the correct color scheme on effectively the front center, R wide prime, and then here we just have a just a U, and then a 3 mover. So we do U, then RU, R prime. That one's oriented, this one's not, and now they're done. So there are lots of different ways that you can address this. So if I just invert this case, because I'm rubbish at doing stuff in my head. So here, the order of the edges doesn't matter. I just like to put the yellows on the right. It doesn't make a difference. So Ben also said that if instead you had, say, this, where, no, that's still wrong. You silly man. Okay, there we go. Hang on. I'm clueless. Okay, so if it was, yeah, it is this way around. Okay, cool, that's fine. It just looked right to me. Okay, so if instead we've got the U face has the correct color scheme and the F face has the wrong color scheme, what you can do is effectively do the same alg but from the back using putting the F face on here. Or you can do it intuitively. So again, you can kind of do RU prime, R prime like this, and you've got a pair up here and you can start building this way. So for example, for this one, you would actually build like this. You can see that's not a great small trap case. So instead you would then take this one. So if we go back, it was here. So RU prime, R prime. And then what we can do is you would slot this red edge into here, or you can do color scheme cancellation. So that's U, R wide, U prime, R wide prime, and then we'll color scheme cancel by putting these two together and then finishing like that. I'll put the moves on screen because I didn't say them out loud then. So there's basically, the point is with these, there's multiple ways to fix the problem, but that is an option, is using the optimal that I showed you for when the U center is incorrect color scheme and the F center is correct. Maybe I will try and do it from the back for you just so that we get that in. Okay, so now this is, okay, this one is incorrect color scheme, so we need to make it so that this is correct color scheme and this is incorrect. So he was saying do this, and then you do like that, and then Cool. Okay, great. So I managed to do it from the back, reading the alg. So I'll put the moves on screen for you. But yeah, certainly there's so many different ways you can address it. And this is just what Ben has found as the optimal. And this time we've got the other case. So the orange and green centers need to swap, but the order for the orange edges is incorrect and the order for the green edges is correct. So for this, we're going to do the same start. So R, U prime, R prime, U. And then we're going to make a large trap with this one. So R wide, U, R wide prime, R, U prime, R prime. Now U prime, and then R wide, U prime, and the three mover. R prime, U prime, R. The point really to learn with all of these different methods for changing and adjusting the color scheme or swapping centers is that the principle sort of stays the same throughout. You want to build a large trap on one of these two faces, and you can choose to build the large trap with the right color scheme or not. If you find it hard to learn it algorithmically, then don't try to. For instance, you could just think of it as, okay, I'm just going to kick some edge onto here. Okay, great. And then to have a large trap, I need to do this. Okay, awesome. Then I'll solve the small trap. If you're not too fussed about maximum efficiency, then that should be fine. As a general rule, it's not going to come up often. This is more just to help people if they've made the mistake of accidentally putting the centers in the wrong place. But obviously, with all of this advice, generally you should be doing it correctly. It's always faster and more efficient to do things right than it is to make a mistake and have to fix it. So obviously, we don't want to be in these situations, but if we are, this is what we can do to fix them. Okay, now we're going to look at some last bottom triple situations. So here, we've accidentally ended up with our triple. So let's say that this was where our centers were at. We did, a U prime, R prime, and a U to orient the center. Oh, we didn't look ahead. We forgot to make sure to take this out beforehand. No matter. This specific case where the triple is completed but flipped in place, it's only 7 moves to fix. And I'll show you. What we're going to do is take this triple and put it into the back slot here. And then we're going to take it out of the back slot, put it into the solve spot. So takes it out of the slot and puts it in the back. Solves it. But we don't have to do this in 8 moves. We can cancel the move. I sort of showed it there. So what's going to happen is we're going to do L prime R, L R, L prime R prime, and then we're going to go to R prime, is that right? Yeah, R, L, something like this. Basically, essentially what happens is we end up with a cancellation. Observe. So we bring the slot in with L, R, L prime, and then instead of doing an R prime, going to do an R, and then this would be a B move, but I'm just going to regrip and put it here. So B prime, R, B. So it's sort of, I messed it up. Nope, you need to go this way around. Okay, so the way that I like to execute it is put the triple so it's on the bottom right like this, and do L, R, L prime, then R, B prime, R, B, like that. So it's pretty comfortable, pretty easy alg. That particular one I think is worth knowing because sometimes you just get lucky, skip it, and you weren't paying attention. Maybe you didn't expect it to be done, so you just oriented your center. Oh, great, it's done. It's 7 moves to solve it. No big deal. So let's say instead we had this case. So this is where the triple has the triangles are solved and the corner is flipped in place. This is a super easy alg, but it only works if this triangle is the same color as this triangle. So if I had this isn't going to work. It's not going to solve the whole triple. So you're going to need to have this triangle in that spot. So you can do any sort of flipping alg to put it there. Doesn't matter. Point is that what we're going to do is match these two up. So if I'm holding it with the corner in front and then the triple is the bottom left slot, the down left slot or whatever, then we do a BL prime and then the pure 2-flip alg, which is like this, and then a BL will match this back up. And this only works if this triangle matches this color. Like so. Additionally, this can also work if... Okay, I need to actually give the example. So let's say we had... No, I want it to go this way. Okay, so we've got the same thing, but instead of using the red triangle, which needs to be over here to do this alg, to do the red triangle, which needs to be over here, we can also use the other color. So if this color matches here, so if either of these two matches one of these two, we can make use of that. So in this case, let's say the purple was actually here. What we do is bring it over above this side of the puzzle, and then we're going to match up with this. So in this case, it would be from this angle, we do BR. Is that right? Yeah, BR, and then the 2-flip alg, pure 2-flip, and then BR prime, and that solves it. Oop, not that. So one of these two triangles here needs to match with one of these two here. So in this case, the purples match, so like so. And for the final case on last bottom triple, this is where we've accidentally inserted our corner, but when we oriented our centers, and we have a bad case. These, basically we've got a triple, but the triangles are swapped. Now, I will say, if somebody knows the alg, then what they could do is notice this case, and instead of avoiding inserting it and then building their last bottom triple, they could just simply insert this and execute the alg. So let's use that. We're going to put the triple on the bottom left, like so. And then I don't find this super intuitive, so we're going to take it a few times. We do R, F prime, L prime, R, U prime, R prime, U, L, R, F. That solves it. So essentially what's happening is we're kind of using this triple and the fact that these triangles match to our advantage. So we do R, F prime, which matches this up, then L prime to bring this triple to the sort of U layer. And then we do R, U prime, R prime, U, which has kept this preserved the whole time. And then L, R prime, F, and these two here match up at the, oh gosh, sorry, these two match up here. So one more time, it's, I'll set up the case. So it looks like this. Hold it on the bottom left and we do R prime F, sorry, we do R, F prime, L prime, R, U prime, R prime, U, L, R prime, F. As discussed with all of these, you want to avoid making these mistakes at all, but if they happen, if they come up, it's useful to know. What we do is we start with it here, and then we hold it so it's in the back left like this, so the white center is now our B face. And we're going to do U, R prime, L, like this. This is not very intuitive, so bear with. U prime, R prime, L, and then we'll do an RO rotation. So that's a rotation basically as though we did an R move with all of the puzzle. So R, O rotation, and then U, R prime, U prime R, rotate it back, and then we do L prime, U prime, R, U prime. I did it wrong. No, I did it right. Okay, that's fine. Yeah. So you can see it's not an alg that I'm very familiar with. This is not a situation I'm in very often. So we can run it a couple of times. So it's a pretty decent commutator. I think it's a shame that it has a couple of rotations, so it makes it a little bit awkward. But in all honesty, if I'm kind of finishing my centers and I see something like this, I might honestly just take it out to avoid putting it into the slot. That's what I would personally do. But again, if you want to have the complete set, the complete knowledge, you might as well know it. So again, we put the dastardly triple in the back left slot so that the bottom center color is on our B face. So like this, and we do U prime R prime L, R rotation, and then U, R prime, U prime R, rotate back, L prime, U prime, R, U prime, like that. So it's only what, 9 moves? So 11 moves, I can't count, which is a nice low move count. So that makes the alg pretty nice. It's a little unintuitive, but I mean, given that it's so short, it should be fairly easy to learn. So definitely worth considering. And thanks, Ben, for showing me that one. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to talk about today is if you're using Ben Sisko's beginner method on your last 3 triples and you accidentally end up with 1 flip. So that's this case here. Essentially, I match up this pair and, oh no, this pair's not matched up. They're flipped over, we can't use them. If you have, if you're using 2-look TCP, or if you know full TCP, then you're going to use OLP. You don't care about this. You can just pair these 2 up and then have an odd TCP. Have just a case which has got 1 flip. It's got one. It's an odd number of 2 swaps for the triangles. So these 2 here need to swap. That's a 2 swap, and there's 1 of them. So it's an odd TCP or an odd permutation. But we can actually do something to handle this case. So what we have to do is take your solved pair here, put it over the triangle that matches the color of the upper corner. And I'm doing this so that we're matching the pairs. I'm not even going to talk about offset pair formation, any of that stuff. You want to put this completed pair over the triangle that matches the other corner pointing up. So in this case, purple. And then we're going to flip we're going to flip the other 2 triples. We're not going to flip this one. We're going to flip this and this. So there's lots of different ways of doing it. From this angle, B prime, R, B, R prime will do it. But if you're from this angle, then R prime, L, R, L prime will do it. Doesn't matter. And now we fixed it. Now we're no longer in having 1 flip. We match these 2 up. Then we match these 2 up. And then I guess for the beginner's method, you solve the triangles and then solve the corners. Thanks for watching, everyone. Obviously, there's going to be other mistakes and issues and tricks that I've not included in this video, so leave a comment if you'd like help and advice on those. But obviously, the general lesson is we should do everything we can in our practice to make sure that we are consistent and we're getting it right most of the time. If you find that you're frequently getting your first center wrong, then perhaps it's a good idea to practice some untimed inspection, making sure, double checking that you're definitely getting the color scheme right every time, and then, gradually introducing timed inspection again and checking, going, okay, right, I'm getting it wrong. Because I'm rushing. Maybe you need to take a couple of seconds in the inspection to double check that you got it right. Sometimes I do that just to be sure. When it comes to building your second center with right or wrong color scheme, again, that's perhaps a matter of rushing that we're making the mistake. And so it can help us to slow down a little bit. You can also gauge if your edges are right based on your corners. This is not something you should be doing when you're really fast or pushing those faster times, but it can be useful to glance at a corner to check, oh God, I made a mistake, or oh, I'm about to do it wrong, and be careful of that. I think for the most part, it's about paying attention and looking ahead during your solve and concentrating. The most common times that we make these mistakes is a lapse in concentration. So, in a practice session that's 100 solves long, we're going to get tired, we're going to have a lapse in our concentration, and we're just going to make mistakes. That happens. But hopefully, I've given you some tools to help recover from it. Realistically, if you're making this mistake and you are, you're pushing those sub 20 times, there's a case to be made that it's just a solve you give up on. But I think unless you have got all the way to last 3 triples and realized, oh my God, my first center is wrong, at that point, yes, give up. I think, in all fairness, because it's going to double the time for your solve. But if you made a mistake on the color scheme on the first center or even second center, fix it and just live with a slightly worse solve, I think that's probably better than just immediately DNFing out of frustration. Also, be kind to yourself, be patient. Everyone makes mistakes. It happens. You don't get better by getting mad. You get better with practice. So yeah, leave any questions or comments or any other requests for the series down in the comments down below. And thank you very much for watching.